Brooklyn was calling my name from the beginning and I just didn't know it. I did not know it. I was actually invited to New York with a little bit of a bonus when I graduated high school. The one thing she told me was, do not go past 14th Street. This is when I used to live in Midtown Manhattan, you know, and she really advocated for me to get that apartment. So it's like I landed in Cushion, sort of like when I came to New York, which is kind of good because if you're going to be outspoken, you have to, you know, remember that there are people out here who are going to fight back. You understand? Because they're used to the status quo and they don't want any changes. So when you start bringing all this, you know, change about, you're going to need a soft cushion to land on. I had the choice between Roosevelt Island and Brooklyn.
I mean, you chose Brooklyn.
I remember going to Little Kim's birthday party in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And that was the best birthday party I'd ever been to. And I was like, wherever that place that we went to, what do they call that place? That's where I'm going.
And welcome to Pep's World, where we inspire the next generation to pursue excellence and produce success. My name is Quick Bra, and I'll be your host. Today, we have the honor and privilege to sit down with a prominent member of the African diaspora. She's a dancer, a cultural educator, community organizer, and her name is Mambo. Welcome to Profiles on Pep's World.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
How you doing today?
Well, let's just say I'm happy that, you know, it's Friday, and I'm super thankful that I survived today, so that's good. That's all I'm going to say.
Amazing, amazing. So you're making a huge impact to the African diaspora and the African community of New York City. Tell me a little bit about your involvement in Brooklyn specifically, because that's where you're based at. Tell me a little bit about your impacts that you're making within the community.
Wow, it's really hard to be the one that pats yourself on the back, but we started in, I want to say 2008. I run an organization called Siren Protectors of the Rainforest. And the one reason why we started that organization is because we realized, number one, that although most of the kids that, I would want to say 25% of the kids that attend public schools here in New York City are of African descent, but they were not getting anything in regards to who they were. I mean, in essence, we felt like the curriculum was stupendously whitewashed, and we wanted the kids to have some sort of like heroes outside from the designated months that we're giving to different ethnic groups to actually get to know who it is that they are, their history, their cultures, and also the heritages that they carry in their spirit, in their bodies.
Nice. That's just the gist of it, but we're going to dive into the story. So, you know, I know you moved to Brooklyn from somewhere. How did you end up in Brooklyn? Out of all places in America, you ended up in Brooklyn. And I want to know your story, how you ended up where you are.
Brooklyn was calling my name since from the beginning, and I just didn't know it. I did not know it. I was actually invited to New York with a little bit of a bonus when I graduated high school.
And you went to high school where in the States? Or
I went to high school in Texas. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give them a shout out because that's really truly where I found my voice. The Lincoln Humanities and Communications Magnet out of Dallas, Texas, with my mentor, Juanita Simmons. She's also down for the fight, you know. So that was where I was pulled into New York. But when I came into New York, my mentor, God bless her heart, at the time was the VP of NYC. So it's like I landed in cushion sort of like when I came to New York, which is kind of good because if you're going to be outspoken, you have to, you know, remember that there are people out here who are going to fight back. You understand? Because they're used to the status quo and they don't want any changes. So when you start bringing all this, you know, change about, you're going to need a soft cushion to land on. So I basically came on a soft cushion, and the one thing she told me was, do not go past 14th Street. This is when I used to live in Midtown Manhattan, you know, and she really advocated for me to get that apartment. And she was sort of like a big mouth too when it came to the way that the people who invited me were now beginning to treat me. You know, so she was like, not on my watch, you know, and in essence, the building that we're living in Midtown was unlivable. We were paying buku dollars to live there.
Yeah, I know.
And it was literally like a box. I mean, don't get me wrong, having like famous people for neighbors is great. But at least when you come inside your own space, you want to feel, you know, so the school that I was going to, they gave us a choice. I had the choice between Roosevelt Island and Brooklyn.
We chose Brooklyn.
I remember going to Little Kim's birthday party in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And that was the best birthday party I'd ever been to. And I was like, wherever that place that we went to, what do they call that place? That's where I'm going.
I see that.
So that's how I ended up in Brooklyn. And
Nice.
I went from Brooklyn Heights to Flatbush. But let me tell you, when I got to Bed-Stuy with all the craziness, I was like, I belong here.
This is my place.
I belong here.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it's one of those neighborhoods where you feel, it feels like my neighborhood back in Africa.
It feels like home.
Yes.
Right.
You know,
Feels
you
like
come out of
community.
the street, you see African people.
That's right.
You see like African food, different countries, by the way. You know, it's home to me.
It's home.
You know, and then on top of the fact that we get to chill with our cousins on an equal playing field, you know, our cousins from the Caribbean, and also the ones who were stolen and brought here to the States, you know, and the ones who came by themselves earlier on, you know, it's a great kind of mixed demographic of Black excellence that you want to be around.
That's right. So in I guess in the millennial term, it was the vibe.
It is the vibe.
It is the vibe. All right. So great. Now that we know your story about how you ended up in Brooklyn from Texas, you know, you've since made a lot of impact with, you know, Siren Protectors.
Protectors. Protectors of the Rainforest.
Siren Protectors. Let me get it right. So Siren Protectors. So basically, you use art, culture, dance, and music to really make a statement.
Yes.
Or send a message.
Yes. We use it profoundly to educate. You know, the one reason why we started this company, outside of the fact that we were not represented in the textbooks that we studied about in this country, we didn't have many heroes that were of African descent growing up here. I can tell you the first time, and although we don't get along now, I'm never gonna ever take her credit away. The first time I felt beautiful was when I saw Lauryn Hill on the cover of Essence. You know, it was like, wait a minute, she looks like me. You understand? And then the next time I felt beautiful was when I saw Alec Quick on the cover of Bazaar. And I was like, wait a minute.
We're getting some representation.
You understand what I'm saying? But I started thinking to myself that even when I had interactions with other little, you know, African girls, I would always see that look on their face when they see Like, oh my God, they look like me. So what I wanted to do was create a dance company of women and also men who could give the young boys and girls in the school system something that looked like them but was on stage. You understand? That was not bringing about, oh, you need to buy this to be classy and you need to do this to feel sexy, but no, here's what we can do, and we have voices, and we're using our voices because we have that platform. You know, we're not just capturing the platform to show you how sexy we are, which we all are, but at the same time, it's like we're going beyond beauty to brain, you know, and letting them see what it looks like when it comes out of someone who looks like them.
Great. So in essence, it was an idea that was created to give people that look like ourselves, you know, Black or people of African descent to also have,
especially darker skinned people of African descent.
Makes sense, which is great. You know, we need that representation because, you know, it is so easy for you to think because of your skin color, you're not what you are.
Right.
So it is really amazing what you've done. But what I'm really, really curious about, and I'm sure some of the audience probably might want to know, how did you come up with the name Siren Protectors? Like siren, I mean, kind of.
You know what sirens are, right?
Absolutely. You know,
okay, so the Europeans, they call them nymphs. But really, truly, Mami Wata.
Okay. Now we're getting deep.
You understand what I'm saying? Mami Wata, that's the idea. And we didn't want to say Mami Watas are protecting the rainforest because at the end of the day, they would have that whole connotation with the negativeness that is always associated with African religion.
That's right.
You know, so we wanted to keep it clean. We wanted to somehow allow, although it's the same word, allow the Europeanness to soften what it is that we're trying to present.
Okay. So then you came up with the name Siren.
Protectors of the rainforest, of course, because we're from the Congo forest.
Okay.
And if you don't know what's going on in the Congo forest, some people call it the Congo forest, some people call it the Guinea forest, but my people, we call it the Black Bush.
Nice.
You understand? So there's a lot that's happening with our Black Bush right now, and it's very scary. It's scary because this particular rainforest gives 40% of the Earth's oxygen. But as we sit here right now, countries like the United States, countries like Rwanda, countries like Cameroon, countries like Nigeria, countries like Britain, countries like Australia, countries like France, countries like Belgium, they're digging and pulling any and everything that they can out of this forest. We're talking about the cobalts, the magnesium, all of this. They're pulling
resources,
literally stealing resources from the people who live in the Congo rainforest. And not only that, but the pygmies, this is their home. Those are the people who gave birth to us. They're closer to, how would you say, the actual original man that God made.
Okay. People.
And we've displaced these people all over the place to the point where they can no longer do the little bitty things that they used to do to maintain the Black Bush.
Right. So then this is when Siren Protestors cut up.
This is where we stand up, yes.
To stand up, to use art and culture.
Yep.
As a form and a way to send a message.
Yep.
To protect the
rainforest.
Resources in the rainforest, so to speak. So, you know, great idea. You are a representation of the real African that is fighting for something that is big, which is amazing. And you know, you're representing Africa the right way. You're using culture and art to really do a great thing both locally and international. So now I want to know, since you started, can you tell me some of the accomplishments and achievements of Siren Protectors?
Well, for starters, we won the International Radio and World Music Awards with Suku Stars for Best Entertainer.
Wow, amazing.
And let me tell you.
And how long ago was that?
This was sometime in 2006.
Wow, that means Siren.
We've been around for a minute.
Okay.
We've been around for a minute. And then, but that's just an award.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We've had volunteer awards, we've had, stewardship awards, but those are just awards. For me, looking at the accomplishments, I would want to say that we have had over 600 community conversations. We have had over 400 performances within the US, Canada, as well as Mexico. We were in 5 states. We were in California, New Jersey, New York, of course, Texas, and Virginia. But our Virginia branch closed down because of lack of funding. So we still have the other 4 branches that are up and running. Some of them are just administrative offices to further our mission. But really and truly, the meat and potatoes one is in New York, in Brooklyn. And what would we like to do with this? We want to build an African cultural compound in the true sense of the word. We're not talking about a center, we're talking about a compound. A lot of the times when we have brought this up, we've been told, oh, there's a center in Harlem, there's a museum there, but that does not really encompass what it means to be an African artist. Okay, when you have an African cultural compound, you have artists who are actually living in the compound. You understand? You have people who are making art in the compound, non-stop crafts, African crafts, which a lot of people here could use for healing.
That's right.
You understand? We have music, which a lot of people can use also for healing. There's dance, there's art, painting. Do you know that like a lot of the modern African art that is coming out right now is more on the surrealistic side than it is realism? A lot of people don't know that. They're beginning to do what you call Afrofuturistic art. There needs to be a space where somebody knows if my heart is aching for the continent, I can go here and be fulfilled.
We can connect.
Right.
You have some big dreams and like some goals that you're looking to accomplish for the group. So right now, do you have any like a physical space, an art studio where people can come in for exhibition on a regular basis?
We do not. And the reason why we do not is because for some reason, the city keeps trying to plug us in with NYC operations, which we did for a while. And we realized that, we don't have the expertise, the social work capabilities of dealing with everything that comes with being in that space.
I see.
It's as somebody who used to contract with NYC back in the day, it's very difficult dealing with them. And I've always been that one person that's like, listen, and I'll call this person and call that person until I get to but at the end of the day, it makes no sense for you to be in an environment where people live in moldy apartments and your office looks nice.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Sense.
We're about building community, not necessarily putting ourselves on a pedestal so people can worship us.
Right. Makes sense. So, with that being said, do you have some dance classes and exhibitions or art education?
We
that
do
you do with the community?
a lot of workshops because my goal has always been to get them young.
Okay.
You know, and we get a lot of pushback because with African dance, it's about freeing your body.
So you say pushbacks, but pushbacks from where? The community?
I am about to tell you.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's get into the meaning. So, with African dance, there's a lot of freedom when it comes to movement. You know, it's like some dances are all about your neck movement. Some dances are all about like, hips, hands, legs. But then most African dances incorporate the midsection.
Right.
We live in a puritanical world right now, this space that we live in. You know, I remember when I first came to New York and I wanted to dance, I was doing mapuka. As a matter of fact, I was known as the mapuka queen.
Oh, that's right. All right, let's get into it then. Tell us more about that.
The crazy thing is, when I would perform this in front of an African audience, we wouldn't even need guards.
Right.
Okay? And there would be a lot of money on the stage.
Okay.
But when you're performing it in front of an American audience,
which is a non-African audience, right?
You need bodyguards. You need to constantly stop the show and tell them, listen, you don't like it? Why are you not throwing money? You know, and with American people, they're so with their money that when they give you $1, they feel like now they have to touch you.
Right. Right.
You know, which is not.
Then it becomes something that it's
right.
Not. Okay.
Right. So I had to stop that and then just like focus on other things. But there are tons of other Bantu dances that involve the glute work that I would like to introduce, but I can't because
the connotation behind it.
You're right.
Okay.
You know, so I end up doing West African dances, Southern African dances that involve just, leg work.
Right.
It sort of like constrains the body.
Right.
And also
good for the body, for exercising, and other benefits that comes along with it.
Yeah, but if you're not doing it the way you're supposed to do it, this is one of the reasons why I'm injured right now, because I'm in essence trying to stop my body from doing what it's supposed to do naturally, so it's not perceived incorrectly.
I see. So great. There is a lot of things that you have in mind as far as organizing classes and other things.
Oh no, we have classes on the regular basis.
You already do have
classes. We have classes on the regular basis. We do workshops at different colleges. If you happen to be at a university right now and you guys are doing a dance program and there's no African dance involved, I've been teaching for over, not to give away my age, 20 years. And I have over 20 teaching artists within the group. So we are definitely available to come out to any school and do a curriculum-based workshop. Okay, we can also do the fun community classes, but we definitely have the expertise to do a curriculum-based African dance workshop for high schools, universities, middle schools. Of course, in elementary school, it's more basic and more just movement-based as opposed to, structures that come with dance.
Amazing. So what is the vision for Siren Protectors? 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where do you see the group?
5 years from now, I see us in our own compound.
Okay.
I see us running art workshops, drawing workshops. I see us running pottery workshops. I see us running music classes, dance classes. I see us having cooking classes. You understand? I see us in this village of artists and the community around it that comes through the support.
Nice, nice. You know, we talked a lot about Siren Protectors. Now, I want us to put the focus on yourself. You know, as a person. You know, tell the audience a little bit more about yourself. What made you who you are, and what has brought you to this point? One of the things that I should learn about you is that you are the chair of the African Heritage Affairs Committee in New York City.
Yes.
And also you serve as advisor for several nonprofits in the city. Also, you know, I read that in 2013 you served as a cultural coordinator for UNESCO. I want you to tell me more about that, and you know how you get involved in all of those things.
I always run when they come for me, but they find a way to corner me.
You sure also, you know, you have something inside of you that needs to come up. So,
well, for starters, my name, I have a very long name, is Mafor.
One.
Mambo.
Okay. Two.
Mataufor.
Okay. Three. I did not know that. Okay.
Tirlin.
Okay.
Tab4.
Okay.
Te.
Man, we're going like 6 different names for one person.
Me alone.
Wow.
And I was born, I want to say by the bush, but it's not the bush no more. It's
That was probably the city.
It's a little town now. I was born in Cameroon, although I am not Cameroonian. I am Ambazonian. And the reason why I am Ambazonian is because of the fact that our ethnic group is from a region called Bamenda. Bamenda is past the Mungo before you get to Nigeria. I was raised by 2 royal homes, yes. The Bafut Royal Home, which you guys are, I guess a lot of people are quite aware of who the Bafut people are, because, you know, that palace is protected by UNESCO and is also part of the World Heritage.
And for those that don't know, anybody that will be watching, tell us what UNESCO is.
UNESCO is the United Nations Educational, Cultural, Science, Cultural Organization. So basically what they do, they're responsible for collecting a lot of information before it is lost, which is something that I learned from them and also implemented with Siren. We definitely do cultural expeditions when we feel like an African ethnic group is about to go extinct. Right. We would send a cultural explorer over there to go and record as much as they can so that we can preserve for the future generations.
That's amazing.
You know, we did that prior to the war that's taking place between Cameroon and Ambazonia right now. There were over, I think, 100 villages that were lost due to this conflict. And out the door goes sciences that we will never know. Out the door goes a tone of a language that we would never hear. You know, the customs of a people that we would not really know anything about. So when we first heard that this was going on, we partnered with a group called Africa Rights. And literally this man left New Jersey, picked up somebody in Guinea, they picked up another person in Mali, and they went into the Black Bush to record as much as they could. And I think we covered about 5 or 6 different villages. And the information, let me tell you guys, is overwhelming. Everything from like what happens when a woman conceives to like when an old father dies, like the different ways that people look at suicide.
Right.
You know, that was also a shocking finding to me. Just cultural forms of getting to know how to be a part of this thing called life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's amazing. So, you know, with that being said, what was your biggest achievement being involved in this kind of initiative?
Just the fact that we were able to get in, just the fact that the people trusted us.
Right.
And most times, people who do this kind of work do not look like us. You understand what I'm saying? It's some random rich white guy somewhere whose father probably has generational wealth, you know, who decided to study archaeology, and then, you know, now they're in Africa getting to know us more than we know ourselves.
Right.
These were people of African descent. So it was much easier for us to get information from these groups. And it was also, how would I say, they trusted us better. You know, like we didn't feel like we were being deceived.
Right.
We got to archive medicinal information. We got to archive just basic feats that they did. You know, and the crazy thing is this, right? Because I partially went to school in Cameroon as well as here in the United States.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, throughout the whole of my education, no one ever told me that my people defeated the Germans. They didn't say that. They just said, oh, you guys have a beautiful palace. But they didn't say, you guys beat them so bad, you made them build you a new palace. You know, and it took this guy going to do the expedition to come back with this information.
Yeah.
You know, and even as you how would you say, even as you hear the colonialists coming up with their apologies, they're apologizing to the ones that they defeated. You understand? They're apologizing to the ones that they conquered. They're not apologizing for disturbing the ones who kicked their butts.
Right.
You understand? They don't even call us into question. But I can tell you this, if you want to find out more about the German, we were not called Cameroon at the time, we were just a whole bunch of African villages that came together. There is a movie out with Isaac de Bankole called, I think it's Otomo. And it talks about this guy because the agreement that we had with the Germans, the treaty we had with them, is that we could come in and out of their country as we please. This is an agreement that was made back in the 1600s, like way back. Like we still need to check dates.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you know, in this particular movie, it tells you, because Otomo showed up in Germany talking about, you owe me the same rights. Like when I come here, you're supposed to have treated me as a German citizen.
Right.
Not treat me as somebody who just came in and then you're chasing me on, like, no. You're supposed to give me everything that anybody within your society is supposed to get.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, you know, have what those papers that were given to our grandparents who didn't know how to read German or read English or read whatever. Some of them kept them. Some of them had them put on masks.
Right.
We found those too. You know, where like you're looking at a mask and there's information and then you're like, wait, what is this? You know, it was a way for them to sort of like keep information, but they didn't know what kind of information that they were keeping. It also enabled us to like pull out a lot.
Right.
A lot.
So you played a huge role in bringing some of these things into surface. and which is great. So,
no, we haven't brought them to the surface because, like, I'm one of those people. I'm very mistrustful of the system, and I don't have a reason to be.
Right.
But I'm super mistrustful of the system because a lot of the times, you know, when it comes to African information, people want it to be available free for everyone.
Right.
You understand? But other people, they make us pay for stuff, or they come and take the information, like the medicines, for free, and then tell us we can't sell it anymore. So, a lot of those scenarios that I've gone through, I don't want to go through again.
Right.
So it is available, and you should probably reach out to us if you want some of that information. We're also willing to do an exhibition of the information that we received at any university, because we don't think it's something that can be discussed in a high school setting.
Right.
You know, the information is very deep.
Right. So there's a lot more to be done.
Yeah, there's so much more to be done.
Yes. And it seemed like, you know, you are very much, you know, read and aware of information. We've talked a lot about, you know, what you're evolving in the African community. We've talked a lot about yourself, you know, some of the work that you've done. Right now, I want to get into a little bit of your educational background. You know, where did you go to school? Where did you study? You know, where are you right now?
So I went to several different colleges, and then I realized that getting a degree was gonna take too long for me.
Right.
So I wanted to speed the process up. I started doing certifications. You know, as opposed to doing 5 years here, I would do an 8-month certification.
Right.
Where they would pack a whole bunch of information in there like crazy. So, list of institutions. This is funny.
Yeah.
Marymount Manhattan College, Mercy College, Pace Baruch.
So
Right?
Pace and Baruch are the same institution, or like?
They came together to create that particular certification that I went.
Okay. I see.
And that certification was not easy to get. I felt like I was doing a PhD program.
So what did you end up in as a degree? That, you know, concentration.
I wanted to do African dance, but I ended up with communications.
Well, it makes sense because, you know, you are somewhat of a communicator and a storyteller and, you know, information giver.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Imagine if I had come home and told my father, so I've changed my major to dance.
Right.
And he's like, wait, but I can teach you to dance. You don't need to go over.
I mean, yeah, it's typical African home for you, you know, because, you know, as Africans, we want you to become the doctors, the lawyers, and the nurses.
Well, they knew I was not going to become that, you know, because as a matter of fact, I took the ASVAB test. I was supposed to be a nurse in the Air Force.
Right.
I ran so fast the moment they said nurse.
Yeah.
I was like, not today.
Not for you.
Not for me. I'm sorry.
Right.
Numbers give me headaches.
Yes.
I prefer if you write them out.
That's right.
You know, don't come on me throwing arithmetic at me.
So great. You know, with everything that you've been through, you know, from your background and, you know, everything that you've done for the African community, I'm sure personally you faced some challenges in life, right? That has inspired you or put you in a position to become the kind of person you are and the kind of person that you inspired to be or aspire to be. So tell me some of your challenges that you faced and how it shaped you to become who you are.
When I first came into this country, I came from a space where women were protected. So you didn't feel the need to scream, shout, so people can, you know, see what's going on with you. So a lot of my classmates were taking advantage of that. So again, I ran into this lady by the name of Juanita Simmons. I have never met a lady beat me so hard in my chest. You know, and I'm not talking about physically. It's just like, she was like, nope, that's not how it's done. Do it again. Nope, that's not how, do it again. And I'm like, why is this lady just like why? Today I understand, because I cannot see a bystander going through it and keep it moving and be like, oh, but I don't want to
stand there and watch.
Or just stand there and watch. I know what to do.
Right. No bystander effect.
Right. You know, I also know that if I want anything to move forward, I need to be the catalyst that pushes it forward. I shouldn't sit and say, but I don't have this, I don't have that, you know, but it's to take that first step before looking and seeing who's coming with me. You know, it's not all the time that people are gonna come with you.
Right.
But at the same time, you need to have conviction of your spirit to know that, yeah, this is this, and this is how we're gonna do it. If you have the conviction, if you have the plan, what's stopping you?
You gotta go for it.
Right. So my greatest challenge was actually finding my voice.
Right.
You know, and I'm so happy that I found it. A lot of African people feel like it's very boisterous and rude, but guess what? You don't live in Brooklyn, do you? If you do, then you know.
Yes.
You gotta be like, hey!
You make it here, you make it anywhere. So you know, to bring it to the end, right? You know, a lot of people talk about American dream. American dream being able to make some amount of money, buy cars, you know, nice houses, and you know, just material things that we speak about when it comes to success and the American dream. What does the American dream mean to you?
The American dream for me would be when Africans get the respect that they duly deserve. You know, because I feel like America is hurting itself by not fully accepting Africans as they are. I think that they're hurting themselves in terms of the innovation. By shutting down Black voices, you cut down a sect of your community, and really truly you're not doing much. So my dream would be when I'm walking down the street one day and I literally see an image of what this country is supposed to be, which is multiracial people, just getting along with each other, not just getting along on the surface. You understand? That actually understanding this person's culture is this, my culture is this.
That's right.
You understand? And we can coexist, both celebrating each other. You know, so like a lot of people want to build mansions and this and that. I personally would not mind a hut on the beach somewhere, and I can sell oranges. I'm okay.
The countryside.
No, I'm not going to the country. Or don't take me to the country. I'll go to visit.
That's right. So, you know, that's great, you know, because a lot of American dream is pretty much as being all material. But it's great that you have a great sense of what your dream, you know, you want to build and contribute to community and development. So, for my last question for you is, what advice would you have for the next generation coming, based on the legacy that you're building? What advice would you advise the youth and the next generation coming?
Tap into your positive fear.
Man.
Tap into your positive fear and be fearless. What do I mean by that? You know how when you're about to fall and you feel something and then you just stop? That emotion, that's positive fear. You understand?
That's right.
If you can feel the danger coming, get out of there. You understand? But at the same time, be fearless with your goals. Be fearless with your dreams, okay? And also realize that not everybody has the same goals. Not everybody is gonna get the same luck, but be always ready for yours. Have a plan for your lucky day.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
Always make a plan for your lucky day, because at the end of it all, the only person that's gonna be satisfied in your achievement is you, because you were better than what you were yesterday.
Nice. That's right. That's all we have for you on this episode. We heard from Mambo. My name is Kweku, and it has been a pleasure having her share her story and things that she's doing in the community to really pursue excellence and produce success. That's all we have for you. Catch us in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.